morning, everyone. Thank you very much for joining me. It is Friday, August 2nd. I don't know what time it is where you're at, but it's still morning where I'm at. There was a magnitude 2.6 earthquake there in or by Salt Lake City, Utah. USGS revised it to a magnitude 2.5. Yep, 4:09 a.m. local time woke up a lot of people. Did you feel this earthquake? This is not far from where they had the magnitude 5.7 back in 2020. These are near the Kennecott Tailings pond, and I got out drawn in green. If they ever had a failure of the retaining walls for this toxic sludge, this would be the location that would probably be flooded out with all that material. The company has known about the danger since, I believe, 1988, and they did some work to try and make it safer. Hi everyone, I'm Mary with MaryGreeley News. Thank you very much for joining me. Please like, share, and subscribe. Been getting a lot of notifications of people being unsubscribed, not just from my channel, but from other channels that they are subscribed to. When you're unsubscribed, you don't get notices that we put videos out. So check to make sure you're still subscribed. I want to give a shout out of God bless you and thank you and big hugs to those of you that recently bought me cups of coffee or sent in a donation to my PayPal account. Thank you so much and God bless you. Early this morning there was a magnitude 2.6. Like I said, they revised it to a 2.5 at 4:09 a.m. local time. What's interesting is this earthquake is also close to another earthquake that they had last year, also a magnitude 2.3. USGS is reporting 14 earthquakes within the last week. Here's their locations. This 2.5 was 7 kilometers in depth, or 4.4 miles in depth, which is interesting. You look at this 1.7. That was 4.8 miles in depth, a 1.0, 6.2 miles in depth, a 0.6, 3.7 miles in depth. Reason I say it's real interesting, after investigating the reason for this 2020 5.7, they found that the earthquake faults around the Wasatch Fault System are probably a lot shallower than what they originally believed. So they gained a lot of information from this earthquake in 2020. I have talked in the past, did reports about the Salt Lake. If they did have a large earthquake in this location, the Great Salt Lake would have a possibility of tipping, going from west and draining into the east area. Yeah, we got airports and a lot of infrastructure in here that would more likely be flooded out. Here's the airport. Yeah, this whole area would be flooded out if the Great Salt Lake actually tipped because of an earthquake. And they know that could happen because of the direction that the fault lines move. So going into more detail about this mine, there was reports initially from local newspapers there in Utah about how there was a cover-up of the danger of the tailings washing all the way down into this location if there was a large earthquake. The Kennecott mine concealed warnings of a possible disaster from the people of Magna after a large earthquake. What they did was come in and buy up a lot of homes. In 1988, the company found out its billion-ton tailing pond would breach in a strong earthquake, burying nearby homes in a deluge of mud instead of warning people. The copper giant decided secrecy was the best policy. I often talk about USGS Well, in this case, seismologists and public safety officials didn't want anyone to get rattled in the aftermath of a 4.5 earthquake recently that struck southern Utah. Let's see, let's bring it down here. I did report that. You might want to look at my other videos. I talked about this earthquake. That was on the 29th of last month, which was Monday. At that time, they did want you to know that more earthquakes were coming, and people should be prepared. Yeah, so many people are not prepared. Back in 2021, Rio Tinto's Brigham Canyon mine experienced a 21 mountain slope collapse. It's an open mine that they have there. Let me go over here. And they brought in some, I think that's it there. They brought in some specialists about things they need to do to correct the problem of another possible slide here at this mine. Luckily, someone was on their toes and they noticed that initially the slope was starting to move and predicted the collapse was coming. So they got their equipment out and people out, and when it finally did collapse, no one was injured. The tailing pond for the Rio Tinto Kennecott storage area. The tailing ponds for the Rio Kennecott tailing mine or storage area stretches across nearly 9,000 acres on the western edge of Salt Lake County. Now, as Kennecott explores digging deeper and extending the Brigham Canyon's mine, it is considering expanding the eastern portion of the historic South impoundment to provide 100 million tons of tailing storage, additional storage. Some environmentalist activists worry that this eastern extension is closer to homes in the Magna area and raises concerns about their air quality and water quality. Well, what about earthquake safety? The new area would impact 539 acres, including 327 acres of the existing South Impoundment area, which is 39 acres, and an existing canal and closed sediment pond, along with 173 acres without previous tailing deposits. This would be enough to store 2 years of tailings, which, along with the remaining space at its north impoundment area, would keep the copper flowing until 2040. It seems like people who are impoverished, they just take advantage of that situation. Many of the people in this location actually work at the mine. In the 1980s, before draining the south site, Kennecott concealed for decades that the southeastern corner of its tailing ponds could collapse in a major earthquake, sending a soupy sludge into magma. Let's go into there. Supposedly they were going to go into the area to make it more sturdy, more safe. I don't know if they did or not, but they were hoping to improve the southeastern corner, its stability, and fortifying its walls, extending them for the proposed eastern expansion. Since Kennecott's plans would entail 44.86 acres of water, including wetlands, the Corps is drafting an environmental impact statement weighing the factors like aquatic resources, air quality, alongside socio-economic aspects like jobs. So, is it worth the risk to put people to work? I don't know, but that's what they're going to look into. And yeah, the Corps of Engineers is looking into this. Do you trust the government? I don't. So many people live with their heads in the sand. They have had public meetings. At one public meeting that they held, there was actually only one person that showed up to find out the details. As of 2022 census, according to Google, there is 29,668 people that live in that portion of Salt Lake County. And only one person showed up. Maybe there wasn't enough notifications put out. Maybe people didn't know about it. Or they're just too busy, more worried about making ends meet in this day and age because of inflation and everything else. After the magnitude 5.7 earthquake that occurred in March on the 18th of 2020, there was over 2,590 aftershocks. Can you believe that? 2,590. Here's a map from the University of Utah showing the location of the different aftershocks. The largest aftershocks was two magnitude 4.6 events that occurred at 8:02 a.m. and 1:12 p.m. on Monday, March 18th. Prior to what they call the Magma earthquake, the exact location of the Wasatch Fault was unknown, but many scientists thought it deep at a steep angle deep beneath Salt Lake Lake. And then based on the data that they acquired from the magma sequence and all the aftershocks, several research papers now suggest that the sequent activity occurred on the Salt Lake City segment of the Wasatch Fault Zone. Evidence also suggests that the fault curves to a gentler angle and is not as deep beneath the surface as previously thought. Multiple research papers concluded that because of the likely gentle dip of the fault, which would put it closer to the surface of the ground, shaking may be higher than previously estimated for future earthquakes, yet they're in Salt Lake City. So they used to think that a magnitude 7.5 would probably be the size of a great earthquake if it ever occurred here. And to think now they think it might be even larger. Boy, I hope everyone is prepared. Here's a few of the reports that were sent into EMSC. West Valley City, it says it shook their bed, grumped at my husband for disturbing my sleep. Magna, I was coming out of a weird dream when I felt the bed rumble. PTSD came rushing back. Another report from Magna. It felt like a big boom that shook for a second. I was startled, awake, and jumped up. I thought it could have been an explosion. Another one. Cat freaked out on my lap and felt my building bump briefly. It was more of a boom than shaking. That came from West Valley City. Magna again. I heard my water bottle shake a bit and not much else. Another one, it shook my building. Wasn't sure it was till it popped up on my earthquake app. And then the last one felt in Salt Lake City, Rose Park. Thought the cat jumped on the bed, which was impossible because the door was closed. Turned on the light to see. It was like he jumped up hard, then kept leaping. But I'm in a trailer that sits on stilts, too. Very noticeable. And here's the felt reports that were sent into USGS. Here we have an intensity level 3, which means light shaking. Another 3, 2, 2, and 2. There is another report down here by Little Lake, it looks like. Intensity level 1. So intensity level 3 means it was felt noticeably indoors, but not always recognized as an earthquake. Standing autos rocked slightly, vibration like a passing truck. So what are your thoughts? Put your comments down below. Thank you very much for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. Yeah, and thank you again for your support. And I'll talk to you later. God bless you. Bye.